Wow, so it's not locked up at all? Springs back because of the tension. Man, that's amazing.
Good morning, everybody. I am super excited today because this video, or at least what this video represents, has been a long time coming. So we've owned the building about 4 years now, and I've really only been taking this whole process seriously for a little over a year now. So, but for those of you who have been around the channel for a while, you know that we have one particular aspect of this whole journey that a lot of people are interested in and have been waiting to see more about, and that's the elevator. So we have this 1919 antique elevator that hasn't ran in decades, and we're not exactly sure what's wrong with it. But yeah, so for those of you who have been here for a while, you may remember that I mentioned a guy named Neil, and he's kind of an expert on a little bit of everything. And one of the things that he knows a little bit about is these old antique elevators. So we're not working on the elevator today, but he's on the way. So Bob's here, and Bob came clear from the other side of St. Louis up to Central Illinois again. And Neil is coming clear from the other side of Missouri all the way up to Central Illinois where we are. And so it's going to be the whole lot of us. And what I have to do is a little preparation work. So Neil has mentioned to me that he's no spring chicken, and it's summertime, and that elevator room can be as hot as an oven up there. So I've got some plans. I need to do some prep work for him so that when he gets here, it's as simple and easy and convenient and comfortable as possible to work on the elevator. So really excited about this today. And yeah, so today we're just kind of making those preparations, and I'd like to invite you to come along with me, and let's get busy. This whole process, this whole building, everything about it is like yin and yang. Sometimes I'm walking through here and I'm thinking about, you know, we tore all these walls out, stuff is coming out. We've got these different spaces that have been cleaned out. If you remember here, there was a giant, almost to the ceiling pile of stuff there. We just recently got cleaned out. This room's kind of dark, but this has completely been gutted and cleaned out. And this whole hallway, and you know, you guys get the idea. So everything in this building was like so packed you could barely walk through here when we got the place. And you never know what's going to hit you here. So sometimes you walk through and say, man, we've really come a long way. Even though we've got so much more to do, we've really come a long way. So much has been done. And then 2 seconds later, you walk through and see a pile like that. And it just changes your whole mindset and mood. So sometimes I walk through here and I'm really optimistic, and other times I walk through here and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this represents another, 4 or 5 years of just like pure chaos in my life. So anyway, a lot of people say eat the elephant one bite at a time. I think that's probably the most quoted comment in the comment section on any of the videos. So that's what I try to do. I try to just like think of the next right thing to do, the next step, the next, and just keep plotting along. So, like I said, we've got an elevator room that is extremely hot up there. And nobody's got any business up there in the middle of summer. So I had an idea. If you remember several videos ago, we realized that we were thinking about, running the electricity clear from where the power came into the building, and like it was hundreds and hundreds of feet and thousands of dollars on copper to rewire everything. And then we found out we have a different place where 3 phases coming into the building right by the elevator. So we've got power. We can run an extension cord for anything that we want to do, tool-wise. And I was thinking, you know what? we could probably air condition that elevator shaft, or that elevator machine room. So I popped on Amazon and this isn't sponsored or anything. I just picked up a portable air conditioning unit. Bob plugged it in yesterday and said it was working like a champ. So it's, I don't know, 5 or 7 or 8,000 BTU. And though it's not rated for this building, I betcha it will cool that tiny little machine room, because that thing is like, that whole room is only like 10 feet wide by 10 feet long. Very tiny box. So we're gonna put that up there. Before I do, I wanna take up, so we've got lots of insulation and stuff around the building. So I went to Harbor Freight and I bought like a staple gun. And I've got a whole bunch of like foam core board. And I'm gonna cut a bunch of pieces and just staple those to the walls, maybe hang some plastic. And we're gonna turn that thing into a super comfortable, super ice cold refrigerator box for Neil to work in. So that's the plan anyway. The other thing we need to do is the stairway that's leading up into the machine room. We need to put a handrail there for him. So actually we need to put a handrail there for all of us. So I need to go up and look and see what we're dealing with up there, and then come up with some kind of a solution for you know, a stable thing to hold on to when we walk up those stairs. You walk up the stairs and then you kind of like walk into the old original flat roof, and just above your head is like this metal roof that's been, I think it was probably installed in the late 80s, 90s maybe. And so for a brief moment at the top of those stairs, you're kind of in the dark under a metal roof, and you've got to take a left turn, and there's a tiny little hole cut out, which is the elevator shaft room. You got to climb through there. So it is a bit precarious. So what do I need to do? I need to drop an extension cord for the air conditioner. I've got my handy dandy measuring tape, and I'm gonna go up and kind of strategize about how to cut the foam core board for insulating it. So that's the plan for today. And oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We're actually getting back to the elevator. So fingers crossed. I'm always reluctant to talk about what the plans are for, you know, the video that's 2 videos out, 3 videos out, because things change so much. And I don't want people to feel like it was a promise and we weren't able to get to it. But the hotel's already booked. He's on his way. So I'm feeling kind of confident that we're at least going to give this thing a shot. Whether we're successful in the end, who knows, but we're at least going to give it a shot. Okay, so I mentioned that I've got some foam core board here. And basically there's, I don't know, probably 100 sheets of it. And the stuff is ideal. I mean, it's not, I mean, it doesn't have a giant R rating or anything, but you know, you can double it up. The purpose for me is just to get it up so it, you know, covers the cracks in the board so that the cool air is not just seeping out. The problem with this stuff is that, I don't know if it's like moisture or what, but over the years, or maybe just under compression so long, that a lot of it is sticking together. So I probably won't be able to, you know, as I peel it apart, I probably won't be able to put it up in solid pieces. But you know, I can rip that in half, and that's like a 4x4 square. And I can just quilt work, patch it up on there, and probably that works better anyway, because trying to navigate with the whole sheet through those stairs, it's not going to happen anyway. So no harm, no foul. And yeah, let me just head upstairs and see kind of what we're dealing with. Just walking up these stairs reminds me that, you know, what a pain it is to go up and down if you forget something or like you need to communicate something. So that's another thing that I bought in anticipation of this whole process, is a couple of two-way radios. So we'll have some communication, hopefully, you know, from all the way up there down to downstairs with no problems. And it'll mean less going up and down and more years that I get to live, because it definitely takes it out of you. Okay, so here we are. These are the stairs. And, well, the good thing is we've got these beams here that I can attach a rail to, so that's going to be helpful. The challenge is that, like, there's no third one up there toward the top. So I'm going to have to figure something out about that. But I was curious about, like, what the measurement was for the handrail. And I think the official kind of measurement is long. I need something really long for a handrail, or I need to piece together a couple. I'm not sure. So, darn it, I got to do some brainstorming. I wasn't expecting that. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be something to hold on to. And I prefer to keep it on this side because that's where the door is. Okay, let's go up and have a look in the actual elevator room. Oh. Oh man, it's gonna get pitch dark for just a second. Oh, okay. Ooh, so I was mistaken. It's more like maybe 13 feet by 13 feet. So anyway, and actually, it's pretty. It's cooler in here for some reason. I don't know why. But don't let that fool you. This has the potential of being the hottest place in the entire building, for sure. And I know that from experience. So, okay, what are we looking at? Basically just stick built, and we've got all these old smoking screens. You know what these are? I think I've showed them before in a video. They're screens that were on the windows here, and there's a little trap window there, and that was so you could be in the building and still smoke. You could hang your arm out the window with your cigarette and not break the rules. So, good Lord, it's absurd, isn't it? Okay. There is the big beast that we're going to be dealing with. So, it's been a while since I showed her on video, but for a sense of scale, there's my foot. So, that thing is gigantic. Yeah, but I mean, nothing changes in this. This is, you know, it's such a solid, blocky, heavy thing that nothing was tampered with. I mean, it's just in its original form the way it has always been. The problem is just the power delivery and the logic and all that stuff. So we're hoping that once we get, we took the board out to rebuild it. We're hoping once we put that in and just connect it back up, it's going to work. All right, I just noticed one problem that's going to be a real pain. There's all these nails driven in, and they've done that in order to hang stuff on, but they're everywhere in here. Which means that either, well, that one's going to come out, but the rest are driven in further. That thing's got almost like it's almost like a drill bit. I guess that helps it hold on better. In some cases that's cool, but when you're trying to get them out, that is not cool at all. So I'm gonna have to budget a little more time than I thought to get those out. Otherwise, I could potentially just like staple up plastic and press those nails through the plastic and let the plastic hang right against the wall. All right, I've got some consideration to do. And the other thing is the roof, which is just like it's got all kinds of chaos going on up there, and I don't think I'll be able to. I don't want to. I'm not gonna go that much effort to. I'll probably just leave the roof. I might
at least partially where I can get to it, just staple up some plastic on the ceiling. So I don't know about that. We might just leave that because theoretically the cold air would hold down to the bottom and the hot air would go up. Maybe, I don't know. If there's any logic in that. But it would be super convenient to leave that ceiling alone. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. It wasn't 15 minutes ago I said that it's pretty cool in here, but it's, I spoke too soon. But I just had an amazing idea, discovery. So here's an old window that was original to the building up here. The outside of this entire box that I'm standing in is covered with sheet metal. The same as that metal roof out there. So I'm kind of torn because I like this window in its original form with these chicken wire safety glass. That one's got a major crack in it. That one's got a crack in it. Somebody had a heck of a throwing arm from down on the ground at some point 50 years ago. So I guess they've been throwing rocks at this building forever. But the reason I bring it up is because, oh look, it's wavy glass. Oh, look at that. Can you see that shadow or that reflection? I bet that's pretty rare. I mean, the kind with chicken wire in the middle is you don't see that every day. But with the wavy glass, that's probably an even bigger rarity factor. Leaded glass. So the reason my attention was drawn to this is because on the front door, some kids threw some rocks or tried to break in or whatever. And on the door from it was like 4 or 5 videos back, we replaced the antique lock, and the front door actually works like it's supposed to, which is amazing. But there are 2 panels of like that chicken wire safety glass that were broken out. And I don't know, but every window in this building has been 12 inches by 18 inches. And I'm guessing those panels are 12 inches by 18 inches. And this is an option to source that, to replace that in that door. The thing is that I bet the minute I pull this out and put it in that door down there, the kids are going to do it again. It's a tragedy. So I'm not going to do anything about it for now. It looks like most of the glaze, I bet I could just get a suction cup pretty much and just pull these out, because you can see that there's nothing really holding them in. So, I'm going to file that away in the old memory noggin bank, and I may come back to that. Because there's the financial reality of fixing the windows. So when you, this elevator is a good resting platform. So the thing about this building is, like, let's say you have to replace a window. You've got to replace 500 windows. You want to do a windowsill, you got to do 500 windowsills. You want to run some copper wire somewhere, it's 418 feet of copper wire. So just the scale of this place means that I'm technically insane for even trying this. But with the kids throwing the rocks, it makes it so much harder. So we're painting the sign on the outside of the building. I have two missions right now. One is to separate that front lower half so that we can get it up to code and get it rented out and, you know, have maybe a little rental income, make that insurable, up to code, all that good stuff. I'm also trying to beautify the outside of the building as much as possible. It's really hard when I'm not here, you know, 12 months a year. I'm traveling back and forth to Poland. But the better the outside looks, the less derelict, the less abandoned, the less, you know, that kind of thing that I've got going on. And I'm hoping that is a good, the number one deterrent to keep kids from breaking in and throwing rocks. And so my mind is telling me that I should do everything I possibly can and then do the windows very last. And then the building will look great and kept and cared for, and I'm hoping that that's the best deterrent because, you know, kids walking by and they say, oh, broken windows, look at all that broken windows. That looks fun. I'm going to break a window myself, right? But you walk by and you see a well-kept, taken care of, occupied building. It's a different scenario. At least I'm hoping. Am I being naive? Am I being too optimistic? I have trouble with that. I'm overly optimistic and often overly naive about things like that. So that is a really long way to say that I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to keep it in my mind. But I love that leaded glass. That is, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, back to work. Okay, so another thing that I'm really tempted to do is every time I come up here, I got to squeeze through this little narrow hole in the wall there. And it's like a 1.5 foot step up plus squatting down. And it's a pain in the neck to get through. I don't know how they used to get up here during the day because clearly somebody has just cut that out when they put the new metal roof on under there. There must have been... I bet. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is all kind of closed off. I think that was the access here. So they would have come up the fire escape, which from the top level of the fire escape used to maybe still does have a ladder from the 3rd floor fire escape platform. They would come walk across the roof, come to this, and there's a ladder. And there was probably like a little ladder on the outside as well, and that's how they would get in here. Oh, yeah. And then when they put the metal roof on, somebody used a Sawzall and just cut through the wall and cut this out. But I'm looking here. Oh, man. They took everything that was available, so they're still just like 8 inches below the roof. Dang it. So like right here is where the roof is. So if it was like right here, I would just open this up a little more to make it easier. So that was a long story for nothing. Anyway, as you can tell, this is kind of stream of consciousness, verite type filming. You're just along for the journey with me. So, okay, I got a little more. I'm just going to get some junk out of here because tripping is a hazard as well. So I'm gonna just take a minute and organize, clean, and then step 2 is try to get the nails dealt with all the way around, and then I can start putting up the insulation. I gotta admit, I get so easily distracted. So I see these like little voids here where this is 100 years old, so who knows what could have fallen down in there over the years. So I'm like using my flashlight on my phone and trying to look down each one. And I can't really film it because if I have my camera turned on, I can't turn the light on. But not a whole lot interesting in there so far, at least on that side. But I did find that. It's an old Huck's fountain drink cup. And check out those graphics on there. That has got to be the 1980s. I mean, that's just screaming 1980s. And it's a paper cup and survived up here all this time. Just like in perfect... perfect is... I use that term loosely. Perfect is maybe not the right word for it. But that is a throwback. Huck's is a gas station It's just right down the street, a convenience store, and they've been in Charleston, gosh, for 35 years or something like that. And yeah, so this is probably right when they first opened. So while I'm cleaning out, I thought I'd just point this guy out. This seems to be a spare for this, but they're not an exact copy. This one's got an eye hook, or I forget what those are called, probably for lifting it up here onto the roof. This doesn't have one, and it seems that this has been used. So normally my first instinct would be, oh, this is a spare. But it's possible that this was removed and that was replaced. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's the original and this is a replacement, and that doesn't work anymore? Is that no good? Because if that is a non-operational piece of equipment that has no possibility for being used. Oh, if I could get that thing, does that spin? I think that thing spins, but it's locked. I could think of all kinds of cool stuff to do with that thing. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So I stopped buying prescription glasses because I just keep losing them. So I'll set them down, they're gone. And if you set something down, a pair of gloves, a pair of glasses, you will never find it again. You'll never, ever find it again. There are pairs of glasses that I've set down in this building 4 years ago when we bought it, and I still have not found them. So that's what's just happened to me, sadly. When I turned 40, I had like 20/20 vision, and then like by 41 I could not see anything. It was that quick. And now at 50 I can still feel that downward trend in my visual acuity. So not looking forward to that process. But darn it, I have no idea where my glasses are. So the good thing is that I just buy the cheaters. I know they're not as good for your eyes and they can hasten the deterioration of your eyesight, but I lose about a pair of glasses a day. So yeah. So but the reason that that's even a point right now, beyond the fact that I'm just like kicking myself at the moment, is that I found some kind of cool buckets and cans up here, and I was going to show them to you, and I wanted to read. One of them has graphics on it, and I wanted to read it, and I can't read it. So I'll show you what I found, and I'll get a close-up. I don't have glasses on. You guys can let me know if you found anything cool or could see anything, read anything from what's on the side. So, and there they are. This one looks like it's an old roofing, yeah, definitely is. Roofing tar bucket. But look at the patina on that label. Darn it. Yeah, that's... it looks like it's a sticker on the side of the bucket, but it seems that it's also been like permanently encrusted onto the bucket. Like, usually sticker labels don't last that well, but this thing, I guess, just being up in this hot, dry room, and also the fact that it's got tar and oil all over it probably helped preserve it. But, oh, I can kind of see in that. Keep away from fire, caution. That's your basic caution, flammable. Shake, stir well before use. I'm looking for like a company brand or something. Oh, there it is. Answer products. But I bet with some degreaser on that thing, that'd be kind of a cool can. There's another label of some kind on there. That one I think is just a little bit too far gone. So, this one is something you punched holes in, one for air and one for pouring the liquid out. So this can doesn't even open. It requires puncture. And there's no labels or graphics on that one. This one I thought was neat. This is probably motor oil for the elevator. That is, check out that handle on there. That is folded steel. That is so weird. We would not take the time to do something like that these days. So, and it feels great. I don't know why I'm geeking out over buckets. I don't, I'm not the kind of geek that knows a lot about this kind of thing. But it just like, it's interesting to me. It's really old. It's got this kind of scalloped edge to it right here at the, scalloped, is that the right word? It's got a sculpted edge here. So that's kind of neat. And then this one still has the contents in it, but they feel kind of solid, not fluid. But this lid screws off. And sadly, there's no graphics on any of those three, but that one's pretty amazing looking. This video is slowly turning into a show and tell video. Remember those days from back in grade school? So here's a pulley. It has some resistance, but it's not like a scratchy, snaggy kind of resistance. It's just kind of an even pressure resistance. So there's a hole right there where the cable or the rope would come up, come over this pulley, and then go down back out that hole right there. So that is pretty neat. I really like that guy. And it's got, is that, I don't know if that's cast iron. I guess that's cast iron base to it. I'm not sure. But what is that? Oh, what is that? Oh, okay, some kind of, I see, it's like it's a brake. This thing, I thought I was going to pull a wrench out of there for a second. But I'm guessing that this thing opens up and then catches on this bolt right here to stop it as a brake. Let me see here. Open that up and see if it turns. Yeah, it hits right there. That stops it. And then somehow, I don't know how it's done, you guys can let me know, it releases and then it can pull. I figured that out all by myself. All right. Can you imagine finding like an old denim Levi's jacket up here? How awesome that would be. I would never be that lucky. Some kind of homemade roof maintenance tool. No idea what that is, but it looks pretty awesome. You know, the trend now is to make furniture out of pipe fittings. And that's exactly what they did with this. But that is a lot older than the stuff that you can get from Home Depot. This is like oil pipe or gas pipe or something. So, I'm guessing this was a giant industrial squeegee. Maybe for pushing snow off the roof or something, who knows. Definitely wasn't tar because it's not covered in any tar. There's no gunk or anything on it. So, when I put it flat perpendicular to the floor, that's the angle of the handle. So I'm not sure. It almost feels like it's made for pulling instead of pushing. But I don't know. I don't even know what it was used for. The handle on this guy broke. I should be working. I should not be playing with all this stuff, but it's just so hard to resist. This handle piece broke in like 1, 2, 3 places, but it's still got some kind of metal rod through the middle hanging them on. So, but it's weird how it cracked all the way around the circumference of that. So look at the shape of the handle. Short little stubby thing. But yeah, that looks great. I've showed this thing before because it looks like it's exactly that thing. So, and you guys have told me what it is. Forgive me that I don't remember because I get so many like comments. Oh, this is that and this is that, and it's like amazing when I read them, and then they don't stick in the old noggin. So I can't. I think that has something to do with releasing the brake, not applying it, but releasing it, because the default position of the brake is on. and stopping the elevator from moving. And then when that gets power, it releases the brake. Oh, look, another. Oh, that one might have some graphics on it underneath. I can't tell. That's an oldie too. That's a puncture one. Never been punctured. Anyway, the reason I pulled this out to show it again was when I picked it up, I could see that it's open. Check that out. You don't get that on other YouTube channels. Check that out. Holy cow. Okay, so this is 100 years old, right? And apparently it didn't work correctly because I'm guessing that they replaced it and put that one on. But look how free moving that is. Gosh, they make things great back in the day. I mean, you just feel the mass of it. And the fact that it just is still smooth, freely working is incredible to me. It's just incredible because we don't have stuff like that anymore. So, and then this is just like, this is a cast iron box. How many of those do you see? Cast iron. Calm down, Chris. Calm down. Okay, so here's an old wooden shelf. It was probably mounted right up over there. And it's got like somebody used a hand planer and planed these edges, rounded the corners of it. So it's got a lip all the way around it. And something tells me, look at kind of the color of it. Something tells me that if I get some degreaser and wipe that off, that thing's gonna look pretty spectacular. So I'm gonna take that downstairs and add that to my wish list of projects that I get to do for myself someday when the emergency stuff is a little more under control. I know you guys are probably wishing I just get to the work part, but I can't help but think, moving this shelf out, that this has been in this room probably since 1919, more than 100 years. This thing was in this room, in this very spot, before my grandfather was even born in 1923. So it's just like, it boggles the mind. So I'm gonna try to stay on track and keep working if I can get out of this hole. Ugh. Okay, so I know from my analytics that a lot of you guys watching this are old timers, so I'm gonna lean into your knowledge just a little bit. This is a piece of like abrasive, I'd call it sandpaper. But it looks extremely old, and I'm thinking like this might be the only intact sheet of this sandpaper in the entire world that still exists. But the reason I'd like to ask, what I want to ask you about is, does this company still exist? Bear Manning. I guess I could Google that. Duality Abrasive, and they call it flint paper. And it's just survived because it's just been up in this dry room the whole time. And it is an extremely fine grit, like you almost can't feel it. Or the abrasive is, falling off the paper. That could be it too. But it does feel, I can feel it, but yeah, it's super fine. What does that say here? Maximum cut. So that would suggest, oh, look at that logo. Whoa, look at that logo. Somebody hand drew that. That's it. Wow. Maximum cut, minimum cost. Flint paper, Norton Abrasives? Bear Manning. I guess there's two companies. Made in the USA. That's why it still exists. Well, it's still hanging on because it's made in the USA. Troy, made in Troy. Is that Michigan? I don't know where Troy's at. Interesting. Okay, enough about the sandpaper, but I just thought that was kind of cool. They say that when you make YouTube videos, you got to cut everything out because people don't have the patience, and it's got to be cut down to the, real quick edits and all that stuff. And I just spent 2 minutes talking about sandpaper that I found. Dirty old sandpaper. I could have spilled that paint anywhere but right there. Darn it. Oh, I just found something cool. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Check that guy out. That's copper. Holy cow. What is this, guys? Is this like is this automotive? Or it's probably like machinist? I don't know what that is. Do you know the shape? Because, I mean, they would have like different shapes and stuff. Look how it's just been sitting flat, so that hasn't tarnished. I need to look and see if I can find the cap for it. Oh, yeah. I mean, I always find cool, interesting stuff when I'm like getting down and going into the, you know, the very corners and stuff like that. Because if something was interesting, and it was out here in the open, it'd already be pilfered. But nobody's like getting back in these corners and stuff. I need to check all of those little holes and see what's in all of them. But it is like, it's really heating up in here right now. And so I've been too distracted. I got to make some progress. But the good thing is you can kind of walk around in here now without tripping on stuff. So that'll be a big help when Neil gets here. So I can actually bring up a couple of little stools or something, because I'm imagining that right here, that remember that giant control board that we pulled out? That goes on that stand right there. This is probably where most of the work will be happening. So I'll bring up a little stool that will go right there. And then I'll be here too, so if he's like, bring me that, I'll bring him that and bring him that. So, okay. All right, I think we're good. Now I just need to start pulling all these nails out and then stapling up the insulation. And then I'm going to decide, do I want to hang plastic over that insulation, which might be a good idea. Real refrigerator in here. It's getting warm. It's getting warm for sure. Wonder if I rub this thing, if the magical brown shoe genie will pop out. For a minute I had a heart attack. It wouldn't be the first time that I put a spare pair of glasses on my head and then found the other pair right behind them. Okay, so I gotta find, I'm trying to get nails out so I can put the insulation up. I gotta find a spring bar, pry bar, flat bar, whiskey bar, any kind of bar to get nails out. And I think I've just found a ticket. That will help with the big old honking nails. So many people have talked about, said, why don't you get your tool room fixed up? So that is actually on the list. We have that room toward the back of the building, and I'm going to, actually that won't be much help. It's a demolition hammer. I'm going to clean that out and hopefully get an organized tool space going. So, okay. Oh, you never know. These pliers might come in handy as well. So I'll take those. And yeah, let's go pull some nails. Back on the same song I was harping on before. You're in the middle of a project and you think, this is a big project. This is something that's going to move the needle. And then you walk to the other side of the building to get something you forgot. And you see just the sheer size and scale of the place. You're like, it just adjusts your perspective instantly. That's a lot of stairs. We need this elevator. I'm just kidding, because the elevator is going to be if we're lucky enough to get it going, it's gonna be a cargo freight type thing, just to move stuff so I can get this whole place cleared out. So between the elevator bringing stuff down for the auction, the someday auction, and parking a dumpster outside the fire escape, we will eventually get it all out of here. So got all the nails out all the way around, and some of them were pretty disagreeable, but I got that accomplished. And then it kind of occurred to me that this is basically a wooden box, and it's like 13 feet by 10 feet. And that's an 8,000 BTU air conditioner. Probably, I don't even need to insulate this room. So I'm not saying that to get out of work. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But I have a feeling that this tiny room, even if it's leaking cool air like a sieve, I think that air conditioner can handle it. So, but anyway, just to be sure, I'm gonna go ahead and tack up some of that foam core boards. And I was thinking about removing this. This is a Harbor Freight electric winch. We just made like a little base for it. And the winch cable goes through a hole in the floor right here. And we were using that. We lowered that riding lawnmower. We just lowered so much stuff from the 3rd floor down to the 2nd floor. There was a video about that. Maybe I can put some footage in there. I'm reluctant to take it out just quite yet because I don't know if it'll come in handy. So if it turns out that we can get this elevator running, or that it's in the way for Neil or anything, then I'll go ahead and pull it out. There's no way to navigate it through that little hole at the top of the stairs, so I'm just gonna cut them in half. Okay, I'm gonna have to make 2 trips. That's not gonna work. You gotta be kidding me. Come on. Woo! Oh my gosh, check this out. The 4-foot dimension would work to get in there, and man, there is 0 left, but it's gonna go in. I just don't know if it's gonna go in the elevator door, but I can actually crack it and fold it and put it in and then unfold it. I think that door looks a little bigger. I think I'll be okay if I can get it through that triangle right there. It's like one obstacle after another. You have to get it through one phase of the journey, and then you can try your luck on the next one. Okay, I got one through. Every single obstacle was just barely big enough to get through. It was like the edges are all chewed up. So that was not fun. And as an update, the sweat is pouring and it's only like 10 in the morning. So this had to be done. So, or work at night. Those were the two options. Okay, I'm going to try the staple gun and see if it just blows through that foam core. Oh, what do you know? It worked and it stopped at the right place. So now I'm just going to go to town. Okay, the master's here. You hear that bang? So these, he told me, are centrifugal force brakes. So when this spins fast enough, these the centrifugal force pulls these out, and that's what hits there. So if I spin that fast enough, I can do it.
You can't spin it. It's locked right now. You got it unlocked. Okay.
Yeah, because no, I can't do it. No.
Yeah, too weak. Is there give it a spin?
That's a man's man right there. Okay. Woo! That's cool though.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that. I just figured that there was something that manually pulled those out to set the lock.
I'm guessing at one time that was attached to the top of the car.
And if it fell,
it would take off, and when it sensed a high spin, it would just lock up and try to lock the elevator up.
Wow. Recording, yeah. Okay. Take number 3.
Okay, this is a big electric solenoid, and the wires go down and connect. And when the motor starts, the solenoid would snap in. And when that snaps in, you can see these shoes widen out a little bit.
Those
and
are
it
brake
works
shoes.
basically like brake shoes on a car.
You know what's amazing is that it's actually functioning just with your hand.
And as smooth as can be. I mean, that's probably, what, close to 100 years old?
Yeah, it's like this over here.
It works as good as the day it was new.
So, I mean, that's the same thing as that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that is a spare one of these.
Wow.
That's your
And the
brake.
fact that this is free moving, like it's just a hand pressure.
Yeah, because anybody that's familiar with redoing old cars, 9 times out of 10 the brake shoes are seized to the drum. And this thing is still loose after all these years of setting here.
So that's like one of the major catastrophes that could have given us a bad surprise for Neil coming. And we're past that hurdle.
Locked up.
Yeah, we're past that hurdle. So that's
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Yep.
So, okay. And this, I guess, is just the actual motor, right?
Yeah,
That
this
sends
is just
power.
a big giant electric motor. Then it runs into this gear reduction, and then the gear reduction out turns the cables. And then the cables, the reason there's so many is it's like multiple pulleys, and it's giving you the force to bring that thing up.
So yeah, the compound
Yeah.
dynamics of multiple
Yeah.
cables helps. Wow. Okay.
I
This-
mean, it's
look at this
simple,
piece
but
of-
it just works.
Cast iron beautifulness. So. Wow. So it's not locked up at all. Springs back because of the tension. Man, that's amazing.
It's trying to lift the car.
And I've been like, I'm nonstop talking about how, like, if this is a ruined one, I would love this could be a great table, like a rotating table, with a, like a HRR Geiger or the Geiger style table base there. But
He can probably take an ohm meter and ohm that motor out for you and tell you if it's any good.
Oh, okay.
If the windings aren't smoked in it, it would probably run.
Dang. I bet that's a valuable piece of equipment if it does run, right? Like, how many of those exist still?
Yeah, there can't be many.
I mean, there was one over in the Mattoon building, and it's going to the
Yeah.
landfill.
I mean, I would think there's probably a reason why they changed that motor out somewhere, unless that was just a spare that came from somewhere else.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be like, they're rated for a certain number of years, and once you
Yeah.
know, Because back in the day, they probably had inspections too, right? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Man, this thing all needs a really good cleanup.
yeah.
It's pretty
Well,
nasty.
if it ends up working, then it's worth cleaning up, right? If it's not, then... But look how... This is a gigantic piece of cast iron
Oh yeah.
base, right?
Yeah.
Gigantic. And
I
there
mean,
was...
it would take a crane just to handle that pulley. That
Yeah,
thing
that's
is so
what
heavy.
I think that's what that thing out on the roof was for. But there's one just like this in Mattoon that's going to the landfill. So, you know, they're going to knock it down. It's going to fall and get damaged, and the cast iron's going to crack, and it's going to end up in the landfill for sure, which is a tragedy. But
Now, this is what kind of surprises me in a way is, you know, when I turn that and I put tension on the cables, that it'll spring back so easy. It's like, so there's not enough gear reduction in there to hold that car up. So I guess you're dependent strictly on this brake.
yeah, Neil was saying that it's like the default position is on.
Yeah, it is. You have to power it to remove it. But I mean, you would think with those big gear reductions in there, you know how you take something that's gear reduced and it's real hard to turn?
Yeah.
But that didn't seem so hard to turn. It sprung right back.
Well, there's probably pretty smart people that designed it, so...
Yeah. Yeah, considering it lasted all these years.
Oh my gosh. So I think what I'm going to do is do my little door there. It's vented out outside. Hang my plastic there. Finish the plastic under there. And then I'll pull that shut. And I'll just go down for about half an hour and let this thing do its magic. And we'll see. I'll know that all I got to do is figure out a different light situation if this isn't going to work. So, okay, so I'm up here. I got to open this door, and it's not ice cold. It's still pretty hot in here.
When you're ready.
But it's it is a little bit better. Okay, so the verdict is that it's not quite powerful enough. That's how hot that thing is. It's warm. It's just north of comfortable. So you could break a sweat being in there. So sadly, it's not going to be super comfortable. But on the positive side, it's not like sweat pouring in your eyes. Like I remember I had that video where I was dismantling the control panel for the elevator. And I couldn't, even for 5 seconds, keep my eyes open just because it was just pouring out. That's not going on. So, semi-acceptable. I guess Neil will be the person to be the judge of that. So, but that's the best I can do, so I hope it works. Stay tuned, and we're going to be moving in that direction. I think there's one, depending on how these come out, I think there's one other video before that, and then the next video he'll be here. So. Okay, thanks guys, and I'll talk to you soon.